Hey everyone, meteorologist Danielle, Uliano,
Mark
and
Collins here in the house.
we are chatting quickly about March numbers.
Right.
We ended the month of March. There's been a large number of tornado reports, wind reports, hail reports all throughout this month. I think in total, so far for the month of March, there's been 1,498 reports nationwide.
That's a lot. That's a lot of warnings going on here, and it really highlights the fact that we are heading into the spring severe storm season. We've had many tornadoes around the nation, but even here in North Florida, we had 2 reports of tornadoes. We had just yesterday a tornado warning in Georgia, and Georgia have seen a lot more activity because they're getting closer to what's called Dixie Alley.
Yeah.
That's an area that stretches from Louisiana across Alabama, portions of Mississippi up into Tennessee, and that's kind of like Tornado Alley.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, you said, with the seasons changing, climate changing, everyone kind of on a shift, the Dixie Alley is kind of shifting a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so what we've seen is, Tornado Alley is usually through the plain states, and because the western states out west have been so dry, it's shifted a lot of this moisture further east. So we've seen those thunderstorms really pick up here. In fact, in March, Jacksonville had 9 thunderstorm days. So that is a lot. That ties a record. Gainesville actually surpassed their record. They had 8 thunderstorm days. Previously, it was 7. And we had pretty wet conditions here in March.
Yeah, like you said, I think 9.95 inches just in March.
Yeah, typically we only get like about 3.5 inches for the month. So we saw a significant surplus here, which is good. I think we need the rain.
We need the rain,
with the way
we went through some pretty big drought conditions earlier on, and I know we said like the record set back in 1948 here for the month of March was 12.52 inches. So we weren't that far away from that.
Just a couple inches off.
We were closer to that than we were our normal.
And we kind of stay dry through May, so we've got to get through April. So far, next week looks pretty wet here. May can be a dry time. That's usually the peak of our fire season. Because we start to lose the cold fronts that come through that bring us rain over the winter, and then we don't really get into that summertime storm pattern just yet. So it's pretty quiet. Once we get towards the middle and end part of June, we start to get those clockwork storms going here that drives us into the summer heat and summer cycle.
Yeah, and like with these storms coming up, into the season, we just want to make sure that it is a great time to go ahead and download that Weather Authority app. Make sure you have the app. You'll get all our push alerts. So when these storms do make their way through, you can go ahead and get real-time alerts for your specific location.
So you can check out our news story. We both read it on the News4Jax website, and it talks all about the tornadoes and how the shift of tornadoes out of Tornado Alley into Dixie Alley has been quite the phenomenon here lately.